Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk a bit about hiring help or assistance or any kind of support system for your business. So this is a question that I tend to get a lot on my Instagram. Not really the hiring part, but basically there are two sets of questions that I tend to get a lot. So one is, okay Neil, where do I look for people? So I'm going to answer these two questions separately just so that the video is a bit organized. So the first question I'm going to answer today is, what do I outsource? Like, what part of my business do I give to someone else to do? And the reason why this seems to be a commonly asked question is a lot of people have this fear of letting go. Usually people are like, I'm a perfectionist. I really like to do things a certain way and I don't think someone else will be able to do it the way I do it. So I'm not really comfortable. So what do I do? Okay. Alright. So, perfectionism, first of all, is just really an excuse. It's pretty much a mask that we are hiding behind. So we have a fear of letting go of control that we have on the different aspects and parts of our business. And this is what we are usually saying when we are saying that we are perfectionists. Anyway, coming to what parts of your business to outsource. The way I tend to outsource is I basically give things that I don't really enjoy doing myself, or I don't have the skill to do myself. Okay, so for example, when it comes to bookkeeping and accounting, I'll do the entries that are required, so the petty cash or those kind of entries. So my husband usually helps me with bookkeeping. So there are certain entries that I would do, which is basically data entry or admin sort of thing. But after that, there are certain steps that I don't really know how to fulfill or how to complete. It doesn't really like my it's super confusing for me. Let's stop there. Okay, so what I would do is I would ask my husband to do those things. So basically, after I have entered certain data into the accounting software, there are a few things that he has to do from his side as my accountant. So that is something that I've outsourced. So obviously I'm lucky that I have a husband who is super experienced in banking and finance industry, and who doesn't mind doing some of the bookkeeping work for me, in spite of, I do have to nag him and remind him. Obviously he's my husband, so he's not really a paid employee. So yeah, so there's a bit of nagging that goes behind it, but yeah, that is one of the things that I have outsourced, or I have given to someone else to do, because I do not have the skill set required in putting together the bookkeeping related information and all the documentation and all of that. The second example that I can give you is in terms of YouTube videos. So when this channel belonged to PPS UAE, and when I used to make these art videos and stuff, I used to do the editing myself. Now with art videos, what I've come to understand with art videos and these videos that I'm currently making is that with overhead videos where I'm just showing my hands and I'm just showing an art process or a tutorial on how to use a particular supply or how to do a calligraphy technique, I used to find it fairly easy to do the editing using a mobile app. But now I would like to add more text on the screen and other effects, not just like the trimming down the video and the basic editing. I wanted a little bit more than that basically. So I decided to outsource. So I now have someone who does the editing part of these YouTube videos. I only film them and then I send it across to him and he does the editing. He has all my branding details like the color palette, fonts and everything. And then once it's edited, he shows me a draft basically, and once I approve the draft, it goes up on YouTube. So again, this is another area that I do not have a lot of skills in. I mean, I can do reels, I can do 1 minute, 2 minute basic videos using a mobile editing app for YouTube, and at this point in time I wanted something a little bit extra, so I decided to go with someone who is a professional and who has experience in this area. So I hope these examples are giving you some ideas on what are the areas in your business that you can outsource. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say here is whatever that you do not like doing, whether it's accounting or bookkeeping or data entry or anything that is general admin work, and you don't really have the, like, you tend to procrastinate a lot on it, or you tend to put it until the last minute and then it piles up and becomes a big issue for you. Those kind of activities can easily be outsourced. Another example, when I had PPS UAE, which was a business that I owned and managed back in Dubai before moving to India. It started out as an e-commerce store and then it had a shop and then it went back to being an e-commerce store. Anyway, when it was in business, one of the things I outsourced was entering all the product information onto my website. So I would hire someone on a freelance, on a temp basis. I would give them all the data, like for example, photographs, the product name, SKUs, the price, product description, all of that, and they would sit and upload them to the website. Now, initially when I started PPS, I would do this myself because during the very initial stages of PPS, I had only like 20, 30, 40 products, and it was pretty easy for me to do it myself. But as the business grew and as I started adding more and more products into my store, it was getting very cumbersome, and it also takes a lot of time out of your day when you have other activities that needs your focus as well, right? So that was one of the activities that I used to outsource at that point in time. So things you dislike, things that you can save time on, things you don't know how to do, these are all activities you can easily outsource to people who will be more than happy to take it off your hands and most probably do a much better job than you. Okay, so learn to let go of that control. You do not have to let go of all the responsibilities that falls on you as a business owner onto someone else. No, you can start little by little with a few things here, a few things there, and you do not need to hire a full-time employee at the very start. It could be a part-timer, a temp, like on an on-demand basis, someone who comes in and helps you when there is a requirement, and you pay them an hourly fee or something, and then that's it. Okay. Now, where do you hire? I mean, where do you go looking for these people? There are freelance websites like Fiverr, Upwork. There are also a few others based in India. I'm not able to recall the name right now, I'm sorry, but Fiverr and Upwork are a couple of places where you can easily find people. I found my video editor on Upwork. I've also worked with web designers, web developers on Upwork. My website is currently going through a makeover and I've hired someone through Fiverr. So these are two websites that I've personally used and I recommend. Another easy way to find someone who might be interested in working with you is your social media platform. So just put out a story saying, hey, I'm looking for someone to help me with XYZ. send in your details or resume to XYZ email, and we will start reaching out to you. Ask your friends, like if you have friends who have similar businesses, ask them whether they have hired anyone or whether they know anyone who is looking for some quick cash by doing some temporary work. You never know. Now, the third part of this video is things to keep in mind. So what are the things that you should keep in mind when you're hiring someone? It's always best to hire people who have some kind of experience in your niche. This can be a bit of a hassle if you are in, like if you have a business that's not very traditional, that relies a lot on social media. But things are changing. A lot of businesses are now coming up that are non-traditional. So it's not as bad as it used to be a few years ago. So it's easy to find people. And the reason why I say experience is that I used to be very keen on hiring people who may or may not have experience. So like I was not very adamant that I'll hire people only with experience, because I felt that, you know, if everybody, like every company and everybody is hiring only those people who have experience, then what about people who don't and who are looking to start? So initially when I had PPS, I used to I've hired people who had zero experience, who were complete starters, and some of them would quickly learn the ropes of things and quickly adapt to what the role or what the job was asking them. But for some people it was with some people it was quite a hassle, because they didn't have any experience, and I was spending a lot of time training them and trying to make them understand how certain things work. So for example, if you are looking for someone to design, do some graphic design for your social media, if you hire someone who is an absolute beginner, there's going to be a bit of learning curve for them, which means you'll have to spend some extra time training them. So it really depends on you, how much time you have, how much budget you have, because experienced people also comes with a higher price. So it depends on the situation. Right now I'm in a point in business where I prefer hiring people who have at least 1 or 2 years of experience, even if it means paying them a little extra, because I do not have the mental capacity or bandwidth to go through the process of training them in a lot of different things. I would rather have them already know these tasks or things that they have to do basically, than me sitting down and going back and forth via email or WhatsApp and other platforms explaining, okay, this is what I want, this is what So yeah, it really depends on where you are at this point in business, how much budget you have, how much money you are able to spend, how much time you're able to spend on your employees or team members. Always build good relationships with people, even if they're working for you for a short while and on an on-demand basis. Make sure that you're building a long-term relationship with them so that you're able to hire them again whenever the need arises. So always have a good relationship with them. And listen, you guys, things are changing. We're not living in a world where it's the same boss-employee or employer-employee relationship that used to be once upon a time. Things are changing, so go move forward with the change, adapt to the different ways people are hiring and working with team members now. Always have a written record of things. So make sure that when you are hiring someone, you have communicated with them clearly what your expectations are in terms of the job or in terms of the role that they are going to play. It's always best to have everything in return in case anything goes wrong and you need some kind of reference.